Hello, in this video we're going to look at the final part of the listening paper in the Cambridge English Advanced exam. Part 4 of the listening paper is the multiple matching exercise. Here you have 5 short extracts where people talk on a theme, and you have to match each person to 2 different pieces of information. So there's quite a lot to do here. You have to work very quickly and pay attention all the way through each part of the listening. So there are a couple of things here that are worth mentioning. First of all, it's very important that you read through the rubric or the instructions very carefully before the listening begins. Cambridge haven't really done a very good job here of highlighting even the questions for this. The information is all quite hidden in a very small font. So we'll take an example now. If you haven't already done so, download the PDF and the MP3s that are in the description to this video underneath. And when you're ready, come back. We're looking at page 68 of the PDF. So you can see here for part 4, it says you will hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about evening courses they attended. And it's written in a very small font, so you don't really get to see what's going on. Then there are the 2 tasks. Task 1 says, for questions 21 to 25, choose from the list A to H each speaker's main reason for attending the course. Now again, this information is very small, it's not really presented very clearly. And what I've seen happen with a lot of students is they look straight at the different options and they're not actually quite sure yet what they're connecting the options to. So finding the question is really critical. Likewise for task 2, it says for questions 26 to 30, choose from the list A to H what surprised each speaker about the course they did. It's very easy to miss this information, and if you miss it, you won't really know what the listening is about. So you get a little bit of time before the listening, and then each one is repeated with a very short break between. And what you need to do during that time is to start activating your vocabulary. You're not going to hear the same language that is used in any of the options. Instead, you will hear synonymous expressions or vocabulary associated with it. For example, if somebody was talking about football, they would never mention football. They might, however, mention goals, offside, striker, different lexical items that are related to that topic. So as you're listening, remember to do both tasks simultaneously. You might not be able to get everything for each, but don't think that you can listen once for task 1 and once for task 2, because you might find that you've missed something and you're not giving yourself the chance to listen again. Also, don't expect the answers to appear in the same way that they are presented here. For example, it's not always the case that the answer for task 1 appears before the answer for task 2. So you really have to be paying attention all the way through. And as always, look out for distractions. If we are given a list of things here and you listen out for the actual word, if you hear the word that's on the list, it's probably there to distract you from the real answer. So have a go now. Take a listen, and we'll go through the answers one by one when you're ready. Okay, so let's start with speaker 1. For 21, the main reason for attending the course for speaker 1 was F, to keep someone company. And he says this right at the beginning. He's talking about a poetry course, and he says, my girlfriend, she was pretty keen, but not to go on her own because she's just too shy about meeting new people. So that gives us the answer F for 21. It's to accompany somebody, and it was his girlfriend in this case. And then looking across at task 2, the answer for number 26 was E. This was the rate of progress achieved. So rate of progress will give us a time reference. He mentions the time. He says, after only a couple of weeks, he had me, producing my own poems. So we talk about how quickly he made progress. For number 22, the answer we want for speaker 2 is H, to explore a new environment. So at the start they say, having recently moved here, I was keen to attend the city guided walks course because, to be honest, I didn't have the first idea about the place. So they wanted to know more about their environment or place. And then for number 27, the answer we want is F. F is the attitude of other participants, and they finish this discussion by talking about the other people, but there was a strange mix of fellow students. Fellow students are the other participants. For speaker 3, the answer for number 23 is D. D is to build on existing skills. Here we're listening to a guy talking about his experience with music. He says, for anyone who has a passion for music and wants to expand their musical horizons, I'd certainly recommend this course. So he's linking that idea to his existing skills. And then for number 28, the answer we want is A, which was the chance to make useful contacts. At the end, he says, the totally unexpected icing on the cake, this is what highlights the surprise. Well, one thing has led to another, and we all get to play alongside professional musicians. So there we go. For number 24, the answer we want is B. B is to improve job prospects, and this is a difficult one to get, really. There's a woman talking about a basic psychology course, and she says much of it, as he'd promised, was directly relevant to workplace human resources issues, and you need to know this stuff nowadays to get on. So she's talking about career development, which links us with number for B about the job prospects. And then immediately after, number 29, the thing that surprised her was that the tutor was superb if unconventional. And she describes what she means by that. If something is unconventional, it's probably a surprise. And then finally, for speaker 5, we get the answer for number 25 right at the end of the speech. The answer for us is G, to prove someone wrong. And they're talking about Spanish, learning Spanish, and they finish with, what's more, my Spanish friend's really impressed. She now accepts that she underestimated me, which was my aim all along. So they've finished their speech with the answer for task 1. The answer for task 2 appears much earlier. The answer for number 30 is D, the venues for the classes. The venue of a class is its location, it's where it takes place. And he says, but what topped it for me, and I really hadn't been expecting it, hence the surprise, were the local Spanish restaurants the tutor occasionally used as a setting. So the setting is the venue, and that gives us the answer. So as with all the other parts of the listening, and really the exam in general, the more practice you have of this, the better. And remember those tips, to listen for both tasks at the same time, to read the rubric very carefully, and to listen for synonymous expressions whilst avoiding distractors. Now at the end of part 4, you will have 5 minutes to copy your answers across onto the answer sheet. During the listening, you'll be writing on the question paper the answer sheet you'll fill in those 5 minutes. But you have to work quickly because 5 minutes is not much time to write in 30 answers. You have to make sure that you transpose those answers correctly. There's nothing worse than losing points because you've put the wrong answer in a different place. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.